They hate when you elevate. They stacking up losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Damian Cryer. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm back with another video, guys. As you guys seen in the earlier video, I did the cooking video of how to bake a delicious red snapper with the shrimps on it, which I've never made it like this before, so it's all ready to eat. And boy, I am so hungry. I'm gonna tell you guys what the challenge was for me doing this right here, was taking this out of the aluminum pan and transferring it over to the aluminum sheets that I have laid out on my island. And the fish had actually ripped in half. Well, the tail part came out of it, so I just put it back together for this video. So I didn't have any super glue, so I couldn't. I'm just kidding, guys. Sort of kidding. I got super glue, just not using it for the fish. So guys, if you have not subscribed to the channel, you already know what to do. Turn the bell on to be subscribed. And also I'll be dropping links to my other channels down in the description box down below. So you guys can go over and follow me on all of my social medias. Also, if you are not following me on Instagram, we're trying to get 100K by the end of the year. We are on the road to 80K as of right now. Also, I'm on Facebook at TheCryerFamily. I do daily uploads over there 7 days a week. So go on over there, and follow me right now, guys. We're on the road to 1.2 million. The goal is to get 2.5 million by the end of this year. And by the grace of God, it will happen, guys. So I'm gonna say my grace before we get to this video. Thank you, Lord, for this food. Thank you for my day. Thank you for blessing me. Thank you for watching over my family. Most importantly, Lord, thank you for my health. You know, I had a scare earlier, but I'm okay. I ask you to pray for all of my family, my friends, my relatives, the people who watch my videos, the people who don't watch my videos. I ask you to continue watching over all of my children, Lord. And I just want to say thank you again in the name of Jesus. Amen. No hot sauce or nothing, guys. No type of sauce. We're going to jump right in. I'm not going to eat this whole fish, so don't expect me to. This is a lot of food, guys. But I'm going to try my best. Fish is pretty good. I'll turn this light on. Now I see why red snapper is so expensive. This is a really good fish, man. I remember buying one about this size about a year ago. It was like 18 bucks just for that small fish. Boy, I put the spices on this. I don't recommend, if you guys make this red snapper the way I made it, I don't recommend that you put too much pepper on it if you have other people eating the fish, like children or whatever, or someone who don't like strong seasonings. I happen to be one of those people. I actually love black pepper, and I was not going to make this without black pepper. I love black pepper, but don't overdo it like I did. This fish is fabulous, guys. It's fabulous. And the shrimps definitely set it off. All white meat. When I was in Indiana, I had met this guy. His name was Eric. I don't want to say his last name, but his name was Eric. And when I stayed in one of my old places, he came over to the house one day and he brought us a puppy, and he, you know, it was a homewarming gift. He actually welcomed us to the neighborhood. And he gave us a dog. I can't remember that dog name because somebody had stole the dog from us one day. The guy, I noticed every day when I got off work, how the guy would be in his garage or in his driveway working on vehicles. So a few months went by before I finally, went over to his driveway and approached him. I needed some brakes done. And at the time I was working, I didn't know how to do brakes on a vehicle. I didn't know how to work on a car. This guy would do my brakes for me. And as years went by, he started teaching me stuff. Like I would go over to his house if I seen him in the driveway, drink a beer with him. And instead of always charging me, we got so cool that he wasn't really, he would charge me. But if I did the work with him on my vehicle, he would only charge me half. So we got so cool, we started doing fishing, we started going fishing together. And this guy, all he did was mechanical work on vehicles. He worked on everybody's cars. But then I started sending some of his customers because people were like, well, actually, no, he was sending some people to me for like brakes and oil changes. But some of the people he sent to me started letting me work on their cars when anything happened to them. So I got pretty good at it. So me and the guy started going fishing together. And I ended up buying a boat one day. It was a 1978 dual speed boat. If you guys been watching my videos for a lot of years, you remember the speedboat. Green speedboat. It had a 90 horse Evinrude outboard on the back of it. So he ended up buying a speedboat several years down the line, but he had an inboard. So when he bought the boat, now an inboard is like a car motor in the boat. So it's different than my motor on my boat, who was a 90 horse Evinrude outboard. That he bought a boat that had an inboard, which was like a car motor in it. When he bought the boat, it didn't work. But he was so good at working on those type of engines, he ended up rebuilding that whole boat engine. So we started taking our speedboats out together, fishing, but he couldn't go as much as I could, because his main job was working on cars. And I could pretty much go fishing on the weekends because I was off. So there was times that we used to speedboat race. Him and his wife would be in his speedboat. Me and Darian, we would be in my speedboat. And we had a blast. So when I moved out of Indiana, me and him had kept in touch, but it wasn't, the way that it used to be because I had moved such a long distance. And I got so caught up in what I was doing when I moved away that I wasn't always on the phone, calling back, talking to everybody like I used to when I lived there. So about 3 months ago, I had got the phone call saying that Eric was sick. Now, Eric is younger than me. He's like 40-ish. I'm putting him at about 48, 49 right now. But he was a few years younger than me. So I did hear that he was sick about 3 months ago. And I didn't even call to, check on him or nothing. But you always hear about people getting sick, but then they're fine a week later. That wasn't the case. And so recently when I was in Indiana, just over a month or so ago, I was picking Darian up from home. you know, to take with me for a few hours or for a few days while I was there. And I was told, hey, you need to go see Eric. You know, he's not doing too well. Remind you, Eric lived right across the street from Darian. Literally, right across the street. I'm thinking, well, I was trying to get back to my hotel because I had a long drive going to Indiana in the first place. I just wanted to pick Darian up and get back to the hotel. Well, I just said, well, when I drop Darian off in a few days, I'll go visit Eric and knock on his door. I think I was in Indiana. Maybe 4 days. The last time I went, I was there for 4 days. And I dropped Darian off at home, and I remember seeing Eric's vehicle in his driveway across the street when I dropped Darian home off. My only thought was when I dropped Darian off was, I got this 18-hour drive back to Texas. So I didn't stop and see Eric. You know, and I kept telling myself, I'm gonna call him and check on him. I never did. Eric was a really, really good dude. So today, which is the same day that I found out that I had shingles. While I was at the doctor's office, I got a message. Actually, I got a couple messages on my phone saying that Eric had passed on. You know, it really made me feel like crap because I know I had plenty of opportunities to go see him. I had plenty of opportunities to, you know, I mean, I was right there, right across the street from his house. I was right across the street from his house. And in my mind, I'll see him next time when I come. I'll just call him later on. That's what I was thinking in my mind. But it didn't work out like that. You know, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I think about a year or so earlier when I lost my cousin Marcus. Me and him was very, very close. My cousin Marcus, my cousin Tina, Peaches, the ones you hear me talk about in my videos a lot. We were real close. And you know, I remember one time, my cousin Marcus, he used to work for the city of Fort Wayne. He drive like the big trucks. He paints the fire hydrants and stuff like that. And I remember one of the last times I had seen my cousin, I knew that he wasn't doing too well. But when I ran across him, it was on the street. He was outside of his work truck doing one of the fire hydrants. And I'm coming up the street and bam, there's my cousin Marcus standing right there with his clothes on doing his work. And I blew at him, bum, 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 bum. He looked and didn't realize who I was. He looked down and seen the Texas license plates on the car. Like, wait a minute, this is my cousin Damien. I got the car, hugged him right there. I didn't want to distract him too long because he was working on one of the hydrants and there was cars going around. We stopped and chopped it up for a minute. And one of the things he was like, cuz, you need to come and see me, man. Come and see me before you go, man. Call me sometime. I did the same thing I did with Eric. He said, okay, cuz, I will. I promise you, man. And that time I was in Fort Wayne for like 3 days visiting Darian. I get a call as soon as I got home. A few days after I got back home to Houston, I get a phone call, 2 a.m. in the morning, saying that my cousin was gone. You know, and when I think about what happened to Eric, and I think about what happened to my cousin Marcus, You know, me and Marcus, we are the same exact age. You guys remember my cousin Reese? Y'all see him in videos from time to time. Big Reese, they call him Big Reese. You know, he's done came to Houston a few times and visited me. Not since I've been in this house, but at my old house. We've also did a few videos years ago at my cousin Tina's house. You know, Reese and Marcus is brothers. And I grew up around my cousins. I grew up with my brothers, but I grew up around a lot of my cousins, man. It is like we had a really, really tight-knit family until our moms died. Like my cousin Tina, her mom passed on years ago. My mom passed on years ago. My cousin Marcus and Reese, they mom passed on years ago. And everybody that I'm talking about, all of our moms were sisters, which made us first cousins. And we were so close at one time, man. And it's like when people started passing away in our family, like the older generation, it's like the younger generation started like not being so close anymore. It's like when my grandma passed years ago. It's like she was like the glue who held our whole entire family together. And it's like, when I sit back and think about certain stuff, you know, it just reminds me that just how short life is, man. Life is short. Like, life is so short. It's not guaranteed. Like, we are not freaking guaranteed nothing, man. Like, you guys know how many stories that I've heard or woken up to where I was actually at a bar with somebody, having a drink with them the night before, and the next morning I woke up and they were dead. And it was almost like it couldn't be real. I still got the alcohol on my breath from the night before. We were sitting side by side, laughing, talking stupid. And then to wake up and hear you were just with this person less than 7 or 8 hours ago. And to hear that they just passed away, you know. And I look around at a lot of stuff, and it makes me realize just how short life is. I did some things recently, and I had to recant it. You know, I had to stop because I realized, you know, life is too short, man. You know, I try to look at the signs of everything. Like when I walk into a room, I try to study the energy that's in the room. Because if you walk into a room and you can study the energy, then you can pretty much identify a lot of things that's going on before anybody opens their mouth. For instance, if you walk in a room full of people and you say, hey, how y'all doing? And you pretty much get, hey, you know instantly, guys, that something's wrong. That's why I say study the energy when you walk into the room. Especially if you're around people that you know very well, you love, people that you have been around for your whole life. You know how they are, and you know when something's off. Well, my friend passed away, the guy I was at the bar with, and he passed away the very next day. You know, there was no energy for me to feel when I walked in a room, because the only energy I felt is we was at the bar. But I think under any other circumstances, if he was sick, and I knew that he was sick, which he wasn't sick, he just died. That's what we do, we just die. You know, maybe I would have felt different, but at that time there was no energy in the room. He just died. And I realized, man, one thing that we guaranteed, you know, I'm one of those guys, I love to play the lottery. I love to take chances. You know, I like to go to the casino from time to time. I haven't been lately, but I like to take chances. And I can say, you know, maybe I can win. There's no guarantees in hitting the lottery. There ain't no guarantees in hitting at the casino. There ain't no guarantee that I'll ever get married again. There is no guarantee that I'll have a girlfriend again. But you know what's guaranteed, guys? You know what's guaranteed? What's guaranteed is that we all have a checkout date. Every last one of us is leaving. No matter how many goals that we accomplished, no matter how many degrees that we got up under our belt, no matter how big that bank account is, we all gonna check out one day. And that's something that's guaranteed. You know, when I woke up, well, I ain't gonna say when I woke up, but when I got to the doctor office and I got the messages about Eric passing away, you know, it just really did something to me. I mean, it honestly did something to me. It really touched me because I had only knew this guy for a few years. I think I had, at the time, I had moved across the street from him in 2008. And we clicked, man, like we clicked. He was a white guy, I was a black guy. And he told me that he had lived in that neighborhood for a lot of years. And it's like, a lot of their neighbors was cool with him, but it's like me and him had just bonded, man. And it's like, knowing that when I go back to Indiana, that I will never see him again. You know, and it also makes me feel awful, the fact that, you know, even if I even went to visit him while he was still here, it wouldn't have changed his passing. It wouldn't have changed his passing because it was already going to happen. But it makes me feel like the fact that I had the opportunity to go say my goodbyes to that man, even if it wasn't saying goodbye, just going to see him, visit him for just a few short minutes to see how he was doing, to give him that memory to take with him. One of my old friends stopped by to say hi to me. Life is short, man. You know, I find myself every once in a while out of anger. When I get pissed off and I jump on my feelings, I'm quick to run to the other side and shoot a video out there or say something stupid out of anger. But then when I realize, you know, you could say something to somebody and tomorrow it could be gone. And I felt like, you know, that's the position that I was putting other people in. You know, I had a cousin. I don't want to say her name. Well, I still got a cousin. One day, this happened, I think, the year of 1989, if I'm not mistaken. 1989, around the time that my son Deontay was born. I remember this night, man, like it was last night. And this is a God honest true story, y'all. One of my aunties, I don't want to say her name because, you know, I don't want my cousin to get offended if she's watching this video. My auntie had got this car. She was test driving this car. It wasn't a new car, but it was a new car to her. You know, she was test driving the car. And that night, my auntie took my cousin and her brother skating. She was supposed to drop them off at skating. And so while she was test driving the car, it was like, well, I'm already going to be out anyway. And the dealership that she was buying the car from was towards the skating ring, which she had to drop the car back off at. Her and her daughter ended up getting into it. And they had exchanged some words that was really, really bad. That were not so good. But you know, they continued on to the skating ring to drop the kids off, and she can go back to the dealership and, you know, give the heads up, give the nod that yes, that she wants the car. So on her way to the skating ring, they were arguing into it. A drunk driver came out of nowhere. And this is my mom's sister. Came out of nowhere and hit the car so hard that my auntie was driving that the steering wheel went through her stomach. She died instantly. My cousin, female cousin, has the scars of that day. My other cousin, which was her brother, was in the back seat. He didn't come out injured like they did, but he was traumatized. To make a long story short, the guy that ended up killing my auntie, he ended up getting like a year or two probation. And it was like his second or third offense of driving while intoxicated. But it just goes to show you that I believe that my cousin, you know, went on the rest of her life since 1989 as of today, the current, with living with the fact that she had words with her mom the same night that she passed. And that's why I say you never know when it's going to be your last time. And sometimes, no matter how angry we get, you should still treat people with kindness. You know, still treat people with kindness. You know, and I say in a lot of my videos, like if you haven't seen one of your loved ones or one of your friends in a while, it don't cost nothing to pick up that phone, man. It don't cost nothing to pick up that phone. Like nothing. And I'm a living example of that. Today, I feel like crap. You know, because it's like, I supposed to went to Indiana the last 2 weeks of June. I'm sorry, I went to Indiana the last 2 weeks of August because Darian was going to come down here to Houston for his last 2 weeks of school. He was going to come down here his last 2 weeks of school, which he just went back Wednesday. just this past Wednesday. Today is Sunday. He just started back school this past Wednesday. So I would have been taking him back home about a week or so ago. And if I would have went down there and got Darian to bring him down here for those 2 weeks before he went back to school, I would have got to see Eric. Something occurred in my personal life where I couldn't make it to Indiana. You know, but if I was able to make it to Indiana, I would have been able to see my friend before he passed. So it's like, it was a big eye opener for me. And I know like now, age don't even play a factor in death anymore. Like you guys hear me saying, well, you know, I'm 53. I don't have a lot of years left. I have more years in the back of me than I got in front of me. That's not always true. I realized that age really don't play a factor in death. My oldest son was in his late 20s when he passed. I know so many people who left at a young age. And it's like, we never know when it's going to be our time. You know? So I guess the moral of this video right here, I guess what I'm trying to say is, you know, don't ever think that we're going to live forever. Sometimes it doesn't hurt to pick up the phone and call somebody and check on them, whether you like them, whether you angered at them, because regardless who we mad at, when we hear about a person passing, we don't feel the same way anymore that we did 10 minutes ago. You know, it's the shock factor for us. My friend Eric, I was cool with his wife. You know, they was just overall good people. Like I said, when we bought the house in 2008, they rung that doorbell and had a little box for us, man. And there was a nice little pretty dog in there. And if Darian and watching this video or his brothers and sisters, they know what I'm talking about. They remember the dog. I think her name was Lady. I can't remember if her name was Lady or who we named that dog. But man, you know, check on your people, man. Tell them that you love them. If you got friends that you haven't talked to in a long time, haven't heard from in years, check on them, man. Tell them that you love them. It don't hurt to do it, man. You know, I'm going to definitely miss my friend that he's gone. I know when I go to Indiana now, I won't see him in the driveway working on cars. But every time I work on a car, I'm going to always think about him. You know, because he taught me a lot of stuff that I knew when it came to working on cars. My cousin Tina, me and her is very close. I've done her brakes on her cars multiple times, and she knows how I learned how to do it. It was because of him. It's so much stuff that I learned how to do, man. Anyway, you know, call somebody, tell them you love them, check on them, man. You know, but I'm gonna end this video off. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I couldn't finish the fish because I got too caught up in, you know, talking about my friend and my loved ones that I lost along the way, man. We not here forever, man. Tell somebody you love them. I'm Damien. See you in the next video.